We got the vibe, fun and friendly all the time. Draft and play and feel the rise. Magic moments in our eyes.
Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic here, and doing a best of 3 Foundations draft. A rare is Leyline Axe, which is a good card. 4 mana, but it's free if you have it in your opening hand, and then it's 3 to equip, but +1/+1 double strike and trample. So basically turn any of your creatures into a win con. Also leaves us completely open, pretty much. I mean, there's some color combinations that probably don't want equipment, but I mean, even the traditional like blue-red that typically wouldn't, would still probably benefit from this, just because it still triggers prowess and stuff like that. Cephalid Ink Mage for the Threshold decks, certainly playable. We've got Tragic Banshee. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end turn. If a creature, so good card, can kill something. Dragon Trainer, you get 2 bodies in 1. Reclamation Sage, destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Big Fin Bouncer, Bake into a Pie. Courageous Goblin. These are all good cards. A lot of goodies in there, but we'll take the axe. I'm okay with it. Ooh, this Curator of Destinies is a good card. 6 mana, 5/5 flyer, and it enters, look at top 5, and you know, you put a face up, face down pile, and then your opponent chooses, and you get to pick it. Tatyova is amazing too. It is multicolor though. Maybe you don't want to start it off with multicolor. Plus, this is like a win con on its own too. So Curator's probably better than Tatyova. It is another mana too, but is there anything else in here? I mean, this can be a pretty quick format, so it can be tough to get to 6, but I'm still okay taking this card. It's a strong rare. And flyers are very good in this format. There's just, it feels like there's not a lot of reach. So it could even be like a blue-white skies deck. I think Leyline Axe would be just fine in a blue-white skies deck too. But Zombify in here, Snakeskin Veil, Tatyova. I really do like Tatyova. It's a great card. Especially early, because you can get a lot of like ramp effects too. Some blue, black cards in here and other blue cards, but yeah, we'll go ahead and take Curator for now. So there's an Ink Mage. And a Big Fin Bouncer. I do like the Bouncer. I think it's good. Good tempo card. It buys you time, which is good. I probably like it more than the Ink Mage. Arbiter, another flyer here. Good res card. I like this Snare Spinner. Dwynen. It's tough to build tribal decks in this format. But let's take Big Fin Bouncer. Good card in a vacuum. Good with our Curator. Leaves us a little more open. This Goblin Negotiation is some removal. I feel like if you're in maybe green-red and you have a bunch of ramp, I could see the Negotiation being good and get a bunch of tokens out of it. But let's take the Bouncer for now. Ooh, Ruby Daring Tracker. That's a good card, but I don't know if we're going to take it here. Could take another Bouncer. I mean, the only major issue I see with Bouncer is it's 4-drop. It's very easy to get gunked up at 4 mana. But I think just playing consecutive Bouncers can do a lot of work. Like, especially if your opponent's more of like a mid-range deck. Even if they're not mid-range, it just buys you time and gives you a blocker. I really like this card. I feel like Bouncer just gives you time to do stuff. Felidar Savior is a great white card, but I'm just going to cut blue for now and kind of figure out where our second color should be. What does this do? 3 mana, 1/4, can play an additional land. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card with mana value less than or equal number of lands you control. And put it onto the battlefield. Wow, that's a cool card. It's a lot of mana to do that. This Elvish Regrower is very good. Painful Quandary is only okay. Am I just going to take all the Bouncers? I mean, they are 4-drops, like I said. But I'm just going to keep taking them and see how this works. I'll play Bouncer until I realize it's not good anymore, and then maybe I'll stop playing it then. So I could take Runaway together. It's actually kind of good with the Bouncer. You bounce, you just keep bouncing. Or we could just take the Soulstone Sanctuary, which I kind of like because it's like a free creature in your deck, basically. I kind of like that. Plenty of green cards. I guess I'm hearing rumblings that green's the worst in the format. I don't do a lot of research on these formats, so I kind of just play to learn. But I have heard that. So Bit of surprise there, but okay, we could take Witness Protection. Nothing else super amazing here. Gnarlid Colony is nice because you can play it as a 2 or a 5 drop. But Protection is reasonable removal. It's not great, but it deals with Omega threats when you don't have any other way to deal with Omega threats. And it looks like we're going to need some early game since we're 4 4-drops and a 6-drop currently. Okay, so option now. Thrill of Possibility and Goblin Negotiation in red. The Eager Truffle Snout is actually very good, especially when you have 3 Big Fin Bouncers. Otherwise, I could take a Hungry Ghoul. That's more for like probably red-black sacrifice. I'll take the Truffle Snout. It's a great card. They don't really want to block and trade with it. If they take excess damage, you get a food token out of it. It's pretty nice. You could take the Ink Mage now. It kind of makes sense to me. It's another 3-drop. It can be unblockable. Surveil is good. So, seeing some black cards now, huh? Okay. None of them are great black cards. There's Stomper in green, which is playable, not terribly exciting. Maybe Zombify is the most exciting card. You can get your Curator back. You're also surveilling, so blue-black is probably good. All right, a lot of red, so it could be maybe blue-red spells, in which case we maybe want the Archer to set up for a bunch of non-creature spells. Although we're like all creatures right now, which is not optimal for that, but that's okay. All right, let's go for blue-red spells. See if we can put that together. Yeah, we're seeing all the pieces for it super late, so kind of makes sense. It's just we're in the right colors for it, but we didn't get the right cards for it. So Liliana is amazing. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card, and then you're spitting out tokens, making her bigger, make them sacrifice a bunch of stuff. That is really good. But we were seeing really late red spell stuff, which kind of makes me think we should do that instead. Phoenix is not bad. You can get it back. Spectral Sailor's good. It draws you cards for those effects. I mean, I could just go... We saw some late black, so it could just be that route. But seeing all these red cards that late... I mean, the best card in here is by far Liliana, so we probably just take it. Yeah, it's really tough to pass that card. And the things I'm passing it for really aren't that amazing. Like, Phoenix is fine. It does have flying. You can get in there. You can get it back. But I just don't feel like there's any reason to pass Liliana here just because we saw late playable, not exciting red cards. Giada in white is good. I really like this Fey Bloom trick. And that could still maybe keep us more in this route since it makes creatures, but it's a non-creature spell. Resolute Reinforcements is good. Let's just stick to blue. I feel like pretty confident we're in blue. Still feels like a good chance we're in red too, but Drakecatcher. Well, a 2-drop is probably just what the doctor ordered, especially in a deck that's got 3 bouncers, because this is whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put that many incubation counters on it, remove 3 incubation counters, and create a Drake. It's got prowess, so it's the right deck for it. I think most likely we should probably just push towards... Wow, well, now Aberration is just amazing on its own. This card just wins games, so I think I'm going to take it. Am I splashing Aberration and Liliana, though, or am I just ditching out on red? Maybe I'm just ditching out on red and playing blue-black, which is probably more Threshold. Well, Shivan Dragon in here. Soul Caller's kind of cool. Get creatures back from your graveyard to your hand. Can't block, though. Or you go more... I mean, the problem is if I'm cutting red, I'm losing a lot of my 2-drops. Could just take the Backwater, too. Maybe opens me up for a black splash still if I want to stick with red. Okay. It's possible. You don't want to play too many witness protections. Could take Thrill of Possibility. It's kind of an unexciting pick. Fake Your Own Death is playable. It's good with Enter the Battlefield effects. I mean, Witness Protection is a non-creature spell, but it's not great when you're trying to rock and roll with Firebrand Archers and you're giving them something that can actually block. I think I'm still going to take it just in case, because we have a lot of like mid to late game. It's a lot of protections. There's Burglar Rat, but Burst Lightning is incredible. It's certainly the best card in here, so we'll probably just take that and still consider splashing Aberration and Liliana, maybe? All right. If I can make the mana work. So I could take Goblin Surprise. To me, it makes sense because it's a non-creature spell that will create creatures, which I really like in this kind of deck. That's where it's at its best. So sack outlets are where Involuntary Employment is going to be the best, which is more of probably... I could probably take the Cliffs here. I still think we're probably splashing, so Cliffs to me makes sense. I mean, the black spells we have to splash are pretty strong. Second Right is kind of a cool one, but I don't want to do that. Pick makes sense because we can splash and it's a non-creature spell. Help Splash from the treasures, of course. So Bulk Up has Flashback. It kind of makes sense. And it's a non-creature spell. It's a combat trick. Could be good. Lightshell Duo has Prowess. That sort of makes sense, although it's another 4-drop. All right, we'll take the Cyclops. I mean, Cyclops can buy some time to get to the late game. Last pick, Thrill. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, Homunculus Horde. Do I even have... Unfortunately, do I... This card is so strong, I think you just take it. But basically, we have Thrill of Possibility. We just really don't have a lot of ways to draw more than one card. That's the main issue. What am I giving up for it? A Firebrand Archer that will probably wheel. I think I'm going to just take Horde and hope that we find some ways to draw multiple cards a turn. Battlesong Berserker is kind of whatever. That's really expensive for 9 mana. It's a cool effect, though. Probably take the Cyclops. Am I taking 3? I guess so. I don't love it, but it can buy time. So there's another bouncer here. Tolarian Terror in general is pretty good, although we're kind of good on late game already. Could take another Archer, but maybe we want the Goblin Surprise and wheel the Archers. Surprise in general is pretty good. There's another bouncer in here, but I think Goblin Surprise makes more sense with triple Cyclops, so because we want to have enough non-creature spells. And I think we can probably wheel the Archers. I mean, I think the game plan is good here. Arcane Epiphany. Do we even have wizards in here? We must, right? Oh, we have a ton of wizards. Okay, well, this is good. It's instant speed, non-creature spell. We might wheel the Cyclops again. Draw a bunch of cards. I like that. It's cheaper. 4 mana instant, draw 3. I'm trying to see what all of our wizards are. Oh, and it works with Horde too, of course. Those are just fairies, not wizards. That's a wizard. Are these wizards? Archers. Another Goblin Surprise. Another Ink Mage, which is another wizard. No 2-drops. I think 2 Witness Protections probably enough. Firebrand's cheap, but I think we'll take another Surprise. It's a lot of surprises. Okay, so we could take Tolarian Terror at this point. It probably makes sense for the deck. I don't love Incinerating Blast. It's kind of expensive, although we are Removal Light, but we have all the tempo to buy time. And Strongbox Raider is kind of whatever, but we'll take the Terror. I think in this deck we could potentially pay a low price for it. All right, Drake Hatcher is just what the Doctor ordered because it's got the Prowess, like I said. We have all the non-creature spells. Mocking Sprite would actually be fine here too, but I'm not going to pass this solid 2-drop. That's a rare. Rite of the Dragon Caller. Oh, that's awesome. It's so expensive, but this is like a, I mean, this is certainly a good win con for us. We have stuff to buy time too, so I kind of like it. I'm gonna take. I feel like taking all the archers is right. I mean, I could take negotiation, but it's just a big mana thing. I'm gonna take the archer. I want to make sure we have enough 2-drops. I can trade with them early if I have to. We'll take the duo. We maybe just don't even have to splash. Okay. I'm gonna take all these Cyclops and archers because I think we ended up getting, like, making this deck basically come together in a way where we probably don't have to splash. Just like there's not really a huge point to splash, I don't think. Like double splashing Liliana. Liliana is tremendously strong, but do I really want to mess up the mana base for it? Probably not. Am I willing to maybe mess up the mana base for Aberration? Probably not either. You know, we have a lot of cuts to make. They're great cards, but we have enough cool win cons with like Rite of the Dragon Caller, Curator. I don't know if we're gonna need to pick anymore, although it is a non-creature spell. And we're a little mana heavy, but we probably don't need to. We can stick to 2 color. That lets us play the Sanctuary too, which is probably a good idea. Probably don't need the pick. I still can keep the axe though. We can cut a ton of creatures because these Goblin Surprises are creatures. Fabloom Trick is creatures. Lightshell Duo is kind of a whatever card. So I could see trying to lower the curve and cut those and being okay with it. So like I could cut the duos. I don't think we've got enough for Horde to be good, unfortunately. We basically have an Epiphany and a Thrill. We just don't have enough ways to... Yeah, I just don't think we have enough ways to make it go off. Unfortunately, Witness Protection's not great in here either. The main issue being if you do it to pump your Hatcher, it's not like they'll just block with whatever you did. But yeah, I mean, it deals with everything and we're light on removal, so we may just need it. Like Big Fin Bouncer is an example of a card that's way better with Hatcher, but the problem is it doesn't, you know, pump the prowess. So, but one hit with Hatcher when you've got a Goblin Surprise is pretty sweet. Then you can make some more Drakes. Let's cut the pick. Let's cut the Lightshell Duos, I think, even though they have prowess, and that is good. I'm going to stick with the Rite of the Dragon Caller, I think. We can cut a bunch more creatures. Horde's gone. We just don't have the goodies for it. Huh. Wow, this is a difficult spot to be in. What creatures am I cutting? Because I should just cut more creatures. We can cut Ink Mage. It's fine. Don't need it. Doesn't really benefit the deck outside of Tolarian Terror, which we might also not need. You know, we can probably win on the back of Archers, Cyclops, Hatchers, Tempo, Axe, Rite of the Dragon Caller. Like, Terror's fine. It's just, I don't think we need it. Curator and Rite of the Dragon Caller, probably enough. How many instants and sorceries do we have? Or non? Is it only? It's only instants and sorceries for Rite of the Dragon Caller. I need to pay attention to that. We have no sorceries in 8 instants. I guess that does make Rite of the Dragon Caller slightly worse, but because it's not non-creature spells like the Archer and the Cyclops. It's only instants and sorceries, which is interesting. Because we get, you know, a lot more triggers. We have like 12 triggers for our other cards, but only 8 for the Rite of the Dragon Caller. That could be relevant. You make 1 dragon, I feel like this kind of pays off, but it is a bit... I mean, the problem is this is the right deck for it, but we just didn't get as many as I would have expected. I could cut the protections. That leaves me removal-wise, basically a Burst Lightning. I like that it triggers, but it also makes the Firebrand Archers... Basically, Witness Protection is really not that good with Hatcher or Firebrand Archer. Or even Cyclops, because it still gives him a blocker. All right, maybe I cut the protections. I'll bring it out of sideboard if they have bombs I need to deal with. And then I can at least keep the right of the Dragon Caller for the 8 instants we have. And I still have, what, 10 non-creatures for all of our other build-around stuff. So I want to cut a creature here, I feel like. And it could be a Cyclops. I don't know if we need 4 of them. Because at the end of the day, they are just a 3-mana 0/4. And I think I'd rather have the Archer because they do more like incremental damage. But Goblin Surprise with Cyclops is good too. Basically, you can make it a 5-power creature. That's cool. I like that it's a good blocker too, though. We ended up with a lot of rares that we didn't end up playing. That's kind of crazy. So we can cut a Cyclops. Still have more than enough creatures. And I like the way this deck looks. I'm still going to keep the Axe because it's just strong. Like, stick that on a Cyclops and cast 1 spell, and you've got a huge, beefy double striking trampler. Or Hatcher, especially, too, with the double strike trample with that ability. Just spitting out a bunch of 2/2s. That's kind of cool. All right. Cool looking deck. We'll see how it goes here. More red than blue. And we've got 8, 9, and 8. I'm still fine with the Sanctuary, too, because we're not super color intensive until we get to the late game. So I like that. All right, this looks kind of fun. We'll see what we can do with it. We'll run it like this and see in round 1. All right, round 1, we'll play first. Yeah, it's a good hand. Got the Archer into Cyclops, into Surprise, Surprise. See if we can make that work out for us. It's a good rip. All right, missed the land drop. So we'll just get in there. All right. Fair enough. Missing the land drop's a little harsh here. Okay. If we rip a land here, I think I'm just going to go for the... There we go. So we're going to go for the +2/+0. Because if I make the 1/1s, it's not bad, but here I can get in for 4. I mean, I can get in for a ton of damage and make a Drake. That's got to be better. I guess I could do that at any time, but that's okay. So now if we rip a land, we got Bouncer, which is going to be pretty nasty too. We also have Burst Lightning. Another Goblin Surprise. So they play a fatty, we bounce it. If we rip a land, if they don't, we could probably still get in with the Drake and do a Cyclops. Got some options here. The Hatcher is pretty sweet when you're on the play. Okay, sure. So we can smash and see how they block. I mean, I think a second Goblin Surprise is going to be pretty good. I guess I could just Burst Lightning here too. And then I still kill the Ooze, then kill the Sage, and I retain my Archer. It's not the best use of mana, but I kind of don't want to waste a Goblin Surprise here either. I mean, we 2-for-1'd them. We got some damage through. Goblin Surprise is very close to lethal here. Oh yeah, they're in trouble now if that's the best play they got. All right, let's just smash. Do the surprise. That's got to be game here. All right. So we got game one. They seem pretty dirtily. Could have just been the draws they had, but they definitely seem pretty dirtily. They do have Scavenging Ooze, which is a good card in a vacuum. Against us, it doesn't really matter. We don't have any graveyard synergies so much, so that's fine. Should I not be doing Ready the Dragon Caller? I just feel like... I mean, I can always pitch it too, but... I don't know. Just what I was thinking. Okay, sideboard-wise, I'm not really seeing anything. Witness Protection, didn't really see anything for that yet. I mean, they're ramping, so I assume they got some fatties in there, but I'm going to wait until I see them. So we'll run it back. Gotta keep it. Double Archer with Fabloom Trick too, which is nice. We got the Cyclops as well. So we can see if we can do the Archer into Cyclops, make the spells thing happen here. All right. So if we don't rip a land, I probably do the Thrill because it's more important that we hit lands every turn, I think. If we do hit the land, we just probably slam a Cyclops, I'm guessing. All right, let's do Thrill. And I guess we'll get rid of the right. Maybe I shouldn't be main decking right. So best use of mana is going to be Bouncer. If they play something, well, that's not the best bounce target, but probably just get Fleeting Distraction, I'm guessing. Oh, Snakeskin Veil, huh? All right, well. I'm just going to bounce it. This is kind of weird because they get more cards out of it, but puts another body on board. If they replay it and find Fleeting Distraction, I'm probably still okay because I'll have bulk up. All right, they did leave up just the Snakeskin Veil. Can't currently cast that, so that's fine. The 5th land, so we can go Archer here and do bulk up. Oh, that's cool. So now, because they did it like that, Yeah, they really did that incorrectly. All right, we'll see for round 2. I'm gonna just cut the, I'm gonna cut the right of the Dragon Caller. This is the right archetype for it. All that. It's just too slow. I should probably just stick to like Crackling Cyclopses or something like that. It probably just makes more sense. I mean, Cyclops isn't very good either. But otherwise, I'm doing like another 4-drop, a Light Shell Duo. I guess I could do one. Yeah, I maybe just do one because Surveil can be pretty valuable. It's got prowess. Or I could do the one Tolarian Terror. Maybe I do that instead. But we don't have that many instants and sorceries, so maybe not. All right, I'll do the duo. We'll run one duo instead. It's just cheaper. It lowers the curve. Cyclops isn't as good as Archer anyway. So, all right, let's do that. Round 2, we'll play first. I don't love it, but I guess a free axe makes me want to do it. Oops. I have to remember auto wants you to play it. Axe on like our Drake guy is so good too. Drake Catcher, the axe is the vigilance too. It's really nice. All right, well, Goblin Surprise. Not exactly what you want, but that's okay. Get some bodies out there at least. So we get to go Surprise into Bouncer. No play. Well, that's something. So it tells me they have Bake into a Pie. So I'm just going to presume they have that. So I think I can Thrill first and ditch a Mountain here. I'm just going to equip on this. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. If that's what the play is, then yes, please. Sure. There's our Hatcher. So we can do both. We'll do the duo first. I just have to play the blue mana to get the Hatcher out. Those are gone. And then we'll go land, Hatcher, and pass. Okay. Attacking. Wow. That is real bold. So let's equip the axe on the Hatcher. And then we'll go land and attack here. No play. All right, well, sounds good to me. All right. I can do this whenever, so Double Strike, Trample, Vigilance. Prowess, that's pretty good. I guess I can hold up on the Drake Catcher for now. No rush. They're at 1 life, or 5 life. 1 life, effectively, with Burst Lightning. Good rip there. All right, so baking that into a pie. So they are technically at 8. So surprise plus burst lightning should finish this anyway, slice it. Is that going to change anything? No, I don't think it does. They're still going to die. Because we have burst lightning. So I'll let them trigger that first because I want to see what they get. They're running a Ceratops. All right, good to know. Yep, looks good. Double Drake-Catcher. Still pretty sexy, especially with that Leyline Axe spitting out 2 Drakes. Pretty sweet. So they have spot removal, which isn't that big of a deal with us, I feel like. Because we have a lot of token creators and dudes where it's like if they use removal on it, we don't feel that bad. Well, I'd like to keep it because of Leyline Axe, but no, we got them all. This one we'll keep, though. It's a great hand. We're going to keep all our lands, so probably ditch the Cyclops, which is the weakest of these anyway. Then we get to go Hatcher into Archer into Bouncer, hopefully. We'll see. Ooh. Hatcher Bulk Up's kind of sweet for spitting Drakes out. Hatcher also survives Stab, which is kind of nice too. All right. We don't have that much spot removal. That actually is kind of nice. So I could do the surprise get in for 4. Although they do have Stab, so maybe we'll just wait for now. Just play the Archer, see if they want to stab it. They do indeed. So I'm glad I didn't surprise there. So now we have, well, oh, maybe they're missing the land drop there. Well, now I'm going to do the surprise, I guess. I got nothing better to do. So now we can play this because we can attack with it next turn. And we'll... I mean, I could do bulk up instead. It doesn't actually... I probably wait on that, right? All right, I think... Well, actually, if I do bulk up, then I can make a Drake and do Goblin Surprise next turn? And make our Drake bigger? Wow, that actually is weird, but oddly makes sense. Although, worse use of mana, but... I still think it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to make a Drake get into their turn, and then I'll have Bouncer and Goblin Surprise. So they have Bake into a Pie mana, which is fine. Sure. I think we're just going to smash for 5 here. Oh, it permanently becomes a creature? How did I not know that? I mean, it still ends up being fine. They haven't played a creature yet, so... Do that. Oh, well, in response. So if I do bulk up now, I get in for 6. Might as well. So they can get back nothing. No permanents. They can give it hexproof and haste. We still have lethal, so they have to play 2 creatures here. And even if they do, we're presumably attacking with everything anyway. Yeah. Still have 2 mana, I suppose. All right, they had the perfect card there. I mean, they literally had exactly what they needed, so worked out pretty well for them. But we just happened to rip exactly what we needed. All right. See you for round 3. Round 3, we'll play first. Let's keep. We even get the axe? Wow. I mean, it's kind of funny because the axe, then you don't get the non-creature spell thing, but honestly, that is not a concern of mine. So I think we'll set up here. All right, 3. So I think we'll just equip here. All right. Goblin Surprise is going to be pretty solid here. I mean, the nice thing is if they don't block, they're dead. If they do block, they're getting punished. So it all kind of works out. I mean, I could even bounce the duo and set up for a better Goblin Surprise, but considering we're borderline lethal here, I think we just get in there. Now we're just 2 non-creature spells away from killing them as well. They don't have their second color yet. I mean, I can't imagine they're not mono blue. They just don't have their second color yet. So They found it. We have Big Fin Bouncer, though, which I presume is going to be lethal here. I guess that's true. All they have to do is kill Archer, and I don't have any... I run out of threats. Bouncer's pretty awesome with the axe, too, though. Get a 4-3 double striker. All right. That's probably a good sign if they're looting on their turn, that they are digging for something. All right. I admit, Cyclops didn't look amazing that game, but it dealt 5 damage. So, I mean, another option is to cut another Cyclops and bring in second duo. Could do that. It probably still leaves me with enough early plays, I presume. Duo might just be better in this deck. I honestly don't know. Getting the Surveil, the difference between 4 and 3 is significant, but we'll try it like this. Is the duo a wizard too? I probably should have read. I assume it is. It's probably an otter wizard. Great hand. It's good to know the Sanctuary permanently becomes a creature. That's really relevant. Ooh, Leyline Axe, I think, is the worst draw. The worst draw you can get on turn, your first draw step is the Axe. I mean, it's still good, but that's funny. Oh yeah, think twice. That would have been good for us. Plunderer. Does have Death Touch, too. No, it's a rat otter. It's not even... Wow. All right. Well, we'll play another land. We don't need them to know about Sanctuary just yet. Oh, wait. It can activate itself, can't it? Wow. That's pretty sweet, actually. Good to know. Hmm. All right. Is it when it... Oh, I see. Sanctuary. Get in. Sure. So can do duo here. I think this is okay because it digs. Don't need the land. I feel like we have better options in an archer too. I think I'm just going to take it. I could offer the trade with the duo, but I can just bounce whatever they play here, I presume. Now we can trade with the plunderer if I want. Still a ways away from this Leyline Axe, aren't I? I guess I'll trade now. My weaker dude. All right. Another hatcher, huh? That's cool. I guess, you know, that having to attack each turn is kind of nice for me too. So let's do the axe first. And we'll get in with the duo. And then we'll play another Hatcher. We have the Sanctuary too. Juggernaut feels a little out of place in blue-black, but oh yeah, that's a good sign. All right. Well, ended up winning the draft with this deck, which is cool. It was a fun archetype. Drake Catcher was a lot of fun. Got to go off with that quite a few times. So, fun deck. Let's claim our prizes and do some pack one, pick ones. Shall we? All right. For each cat you control, this is cheaper. All right. 9 Lives Familiar. You know, I've gotten beat up on by that card, so I kind of like it. Vampire Gourmand is very good with it. I could see taking the Familiar for a sack deck. I mean, it's a rare, it's a exciting card in the right deck. A lot of value to be gleaned from it. Well, it's hard to pass up a Planeswalker. This is great for the +1/+1 counter deck. It also, flying double strike's huge, and making a bunch of cats is huge, if you can get to that point. Mischievous Mystic is a fun card too. I like it. I think it's good in the right deck. And Berserker and Cathar Commando is some honorable mention, but we take a Johnny. Vindicator's pretty awesome. There's some removal with Bacon to a Pie, which is a fine card too, and Reclamation Sages and Meteor Golem are both like playable cards, but I take the Vindicator. That's a fun card. I mean, it also has Double Strike and Trample, just like the Leyline Axe. All right, Progenitus, unfortunately a little too difficult to cast, so we're probably looking at Vengeful Bloodwitch, which is a pretty good card for the life gain deck especially. Yeah, nothing else really worthy of mentioning. I guess Hungry Ghoul is good for the sack deck. Black-red sack, stealing their stuff and then sacking and making your zombie bigger. But yeah, Bloodwitch is pretty awesome. It's a great effect. I'd take it. It's funny that Progenitus is in this set since it's so hard to cast. Consuming Aberration is insane. Really ridiculously strong card. And just can mill your opponent out. So they don't really do that effect much anymore. In the block that this came out, that effect that whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards to the top of their library, basically mill until they hit a land. That was like a theme, and it was a really brutal effect sometimes. You just randomly like hit 8 cards sometimes off an opponent, and I mean, that could just put games away too. But Aberration's super strong. We would take that. And Archmage of Runes. You know, I've been wanting to play this card. Tremendously strong. Would have been awesome in last deck we just played too. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for the next one.